We could ultimately just talk about weekend golf if we wanted to, since it's just the two of us. And I'm sure we'll get there. But before we get started, Scotty's on assignment. Adam's on assignment. You've got Rubber Shoes in beautiful downtown L.A. at the L.A. studios. Timmy here in beautiful downtown New Hampshire. We made it through the rain. How are you doing, Barry Manilow? Nobody? Nothing?
Yeah.
Check with your parents. Great song. We gotta go on the Wayback Machine for that one. I just quoted Barry Manilow. We should probably shut it down now. This is the ATB Show at the buzzer, and you can find us at atbshow.com. We're brought to you by our dear friends over at the Sign Shop. I said it for you, Maddie. Joe and Leslie at AAA Work Trucks, Rubber Shoes. Take it away.
Yes, brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your work truck needs. If it goes in or on a vehicle, it's a good bet. AAA can take care of it for you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com.
So I've got the big water machine full, right? But I'm not going to the extent, this is how ridiculous this is, but it's almost because I lock myself in my office for the day with all my meetings. So I go down the hallway and I load this bad boy up, and then I literally keep taking the top off, and I just keep filling this cup or, oh, this has water in it too. I'll get this filled up too. But anyway, which brings me to my next point. Everybody has that person. I was going to say girl, because or woman or lady. Because that's the person I remember in my head. There's the person who rolls in after the first of the year and they're going to change their life, right? And they start cranking water. There was a girl at the station that Scotty and Adam and I worked at years ago, and she would march in, and it was like every year, like clockwork. And she had the Ziploc full of carrots and her
I'm that girl.
And her big bottle of water. And then eventually she would look like she was jaundiced, because she started to look like Homer on your shirt, right? Because she was eating so much of the stuff. I just thought it was funny, but I'm not going to march around with this thing, so I just keep unscrewing
this January. I have someone to join me.
Do you do? We were talking about this at golf this weekend, because our dear friend the Gooch will do a beer here and there. He will do a tame cocktail, but he won't do the hard stuff anymore. He's off the hard stuff. Maddie said he's 15 years that he hasn't had a drop.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, I was asking when we came out of the clubhouse at the turn. I had said to him, I said, "You haven't in forever," and he's like, "Yep, 15 years." And I don't know. I don't know if he's like, attending meetings or anything like that. I don't think that's the case. I think he just decided it wasn't for him. But him, I'm pretty sure the neighborhood, him, Gooch doesn't do the hard stuff. Davey doesn't drink anymore. Like maybe he'll slide in a Corona Light here and there.
Yeah.
Who else? I don't think Curtis drinks anymore. Fred will have a cocktail, but Fred's a drug and alcohol counselor, which makes it ironic. So thank God we've got one in the group.
Yeah.
Not vodka, by the way. Water, also not a sponsor yet. Anyway, I can only imagine. Like we're always drinking something. Now I'm lifting this huge cup.
Oh, Matt, we have to do this for Matt, since he said between the sign shop and the drinks.
And the drinks, the sign shop and the drinks, yes. We're drinking water. This is for the Gooch. We're drinking water. Oh, what are you drinking?
Let's do with Grey Goose right now.
Vodka with Grey. Well, no, what did you say? Fresca with Grey. That's a great play. You know what's funny when you think about the amount of Fresca that was in the Lindsay household growing up, and now Cheryl. We used to. I mean, I guess way back when I think we had cans, but now my mom will buy like the 20-ounce bottles, which is amazing, or whatever size those are. But they're always in the door of the fridge at Bentley. And do you like seltzer? And I don't mean like the new spike seltzers. I mean like straight up seltzer water.
I was doing that for a little bit, and I don't love them, but I can drink them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. My mom and my two sisters love them, and I feel like, and it's not one of those things like sometimes a drink tastes different when it's warm or cold or lukewarm. It, no matter what temperature it is, to me, straight up seltzer water tastes like you are drinking a glass of sand. Like I can't get past that sensation. Not a fan at all. But what's really funny is if you look at Fresca, it's actually like a citrus seltzer.
Yeah, they say so. I think they say it's a club soda.
Okay.
Citrus.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's very little.
Right. Yeah.
Very little sugar in it.
Because every time I get, I'm always going to do a vodka tonic, gin and tonic. Everybody's like, "We shouldn't do tonic water because of the quinine." Like, there's so many other things that are going to kill me before quinine that I'm just not going to lose any sleep over that. But I don't do the seltzers necessarily. So we got to talk about the fact that we had the weekend off from the Patriots, which I have a wild take on because I thought it would be better, even though we won Thursday, which is also delicious. We got to talk about obviously golf and the fact that it's starting to get shut down now, whether we like it or not. We have to talk about the sign shop, which we got to go back and make sure everybody's clear on that. The sign shop is my favorite because he's never going to let that die now, right?
Yeah.
Never. It was like 1,000 years ago, and I was talking to Maddie about something. I don't know if we were on the phone or texting back and forth, probably on the phone. And because I feel like when this conversation took place, texting might have been T9 texting. Remember with the old, you had to tap every letter 3 times to get the letter you wanted? Yeah. And I remember him asking me if I wanted to do something. And I said to him that I had a gig because it was like a radio thing. And he has never let me live it down. Like, he's like, "Oh, you got a show, you got a gig." So the sign shop's going to stick, which is really funny because it's not a sign shop. It's AAA work trucks. If it goes in, on, or around a truck and it's got rubber shoes half naked on it, call Joe and Leslie. Anyway, so he's stuck on this whole sign shop thing. But that was a really good time. They are, as we discussed, if you are in the New England area, searching for golf. Had you ever played at Hickory Hill before, where we played Saturday? Yes. Oh, you had. When was that?
Yeah, that was probably my 5th or 6th time I've been there.
Oh, all right.
I'd played it every like October. There's through the firefighters club, the Shriners. They have a golf tournament there.
Okay.
So the guy who runs the firefighters club, if he needed people to fill in spots, he would reach out to the fire department. So I think I played there probably like 5-6 years in a row, and then they got so big that they didn't have to ask us anymore, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good spot.
But every time I've been there has been a scramble, just like Saturday.
Yeah. We went scramble because which was a brilliant idea by the Gooch. Can we do that thing where we all don't have to yes, that's a great idea. That was a great idea. I liked it a lot. That's a good spot. And sadly, we were teed up to play there again this coming Saturday, and my phone rings this morning, and I saw Hickory Hill. I'm like, oh, they're closing. And it's pouring. I'm here at the office, and it's pouring here. I know it was pouring in Stratford. It was pouring everywhere in New England, so I'm sure they were looking out the window thinking, and the ground's so cold, their thought process is the water has nowhere to go. Yeah. Because it was cold. Like, I think we got our tees in the tee box 50% of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Which a veteran move that we need to do next year, fall, winter, we have to just bring a hand drill. That's what people are doing. Yeah. Just a power drill.
Quick note on the golf.
Go ahead.
Chelmsford Country Club is still open.
Really?
And but they don't have carts. You have to walk.
Yeah.
And they have a spot that you just do a $10 donation and you can go and play as much as you want.
Oh, so they're not even like you just go and make sure you're not bumping into other
They're still
people?
taking care of the course, but yeah, just first come, first serve and go out, throw $10 in the canister, basically.
$10, play all you want on foot.
Yep.
Killer. That's awesome. Are they 9 or 18?
9. Come on, okay. You know Chelsea. It's the old Apple.
It's the old Apple
Country
right?
Club.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. I remember hating Apple, and most places are like this. I remember hating Apple because I was just starting to play like high school, and the opening tee box is right there. I mean, and most places again are like this, but the opening tee box was so intimidating because I'm not much better, as you saw on Saturday, but the opening tee box so intimidating because everybody's just standing there watching.
And it's a narrow fairway.
It's a narrow shoot. If I remember, it goes up and it goes left to right.
You can't see the green. No, it's straight ahead, but it goes up and over.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't see it, so it's not a. There's not a you know what there's not a lot of first holes that I remember being like, oh, this is a great one to start off with. They always seem to have something that makes it difficult. Also, with being in front of the clubhouse most of the time too.
Yeah. So Breakfast Hill in Greenland is a straight shot, and you're up away from the clubhouse, which is delicious. And it's downhill.
Oh, nice.
Par 4 downhill.
Get your confidence right away.
Yeah, and that place is super lush. If you've never played there, that place that they keep the place in really good shape.
I haven't played. I haven't played a lot of different courses. I've usually played, I've played the same ones a lot.
Yep.
It seems.
Well, that's what we finally started to do this year, was start to play different stuff. Which one do you think you played the most?
Probably Green Meadow.
I was going to say, and it's so sad they're closed.
Yeah. It'll be close between there and, because I played in a couple different places in leagues. So the leagues, actually I played Green Meadow in a league for a few years. So that was great. That was a great setup for a league. So it's a twilight league. You're only playing 9 holes, and they rotate you every week. So you play front 9 of the jungle one week, back 9 of the jungle, front of the prairie, back of the prairie. So it's different every 4 weeks, So that was a good setup. Yeah, that's killed this area. So I was talking to a guy.
So what are they doing with all that land?
It's going to be condos now. And initially Amazon wanted to buy it, but the town kept blocking it.
Yeah, I heard that. Okay.
But I think now it's just we came over the bridge in Hudson a couple weeks ago, and it's just all bulldozered. It's so depressing. And Tingsboro, same thing. Tingsboro Country Club is condos now.
Really?
Or houses. They're actually houses, I think, on there. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's so a guy who plays at Hickory Hill a lot, he said during the summer, it's on the weekends, it's $90 there.
At Hickory?
I don't know if I'd pay. Yeah, I don't know if I'd pay $90 to play there. And he's like, they're not giving you much of a break on the, in the wintertime. 75 was kind of. I don't know if I've paid that much at a regular course during the summer in a long time.
Well, so
that much.
Like the 90, it's all horrifying, but it's almost like Stockholm syndrome at this point. Like, you're just like, okay, whatever you say. 75. Because I know Far Corner over in Boxford the other Saturday was 67, and it wasn't a shotgun.
I do love the shotgun start. They're
excellent. Technically still open, which is amazing. I love the idea. I think it's super smart because everybody's going out at once. It keeps everybody moving. It's super smart. But 75, to your point, it's a little rich. I mean, the most expensive place that we play over the summer usually is going to be, we're going to get to that 90. It's going to be 90, and that's Lynx, that's Breakfast Hill, and I'm trying to mentally put a shine on Hickory Hill because I saw it Saturday and it was pretty drab and cold and stuff. But if that place is shining, I don't know if I'd bat an eye at $90, because I think next summer when everybody opens up, you're going to have to be okay with $100 for your green fees and your cart. Like that's going to be standard fare. I would not be shocked. I think the average round is going to be in that ballpark.
I've been playing. So this year I played, I forget what they called it. It was a place in Borica, and it was in rough shape. It was so we played on Monday after work, and I think it was like $35 to walk, and I think it was like 40 with a cart.
Yep. Wow.
So I guess that's for 9, and 18 would be about 80, and that place is definitely not worth it. And then we played in we moved around a little because they got so the group I was playing with has been playing at that place in Barica for years and years and years. And then now because Green Meadow shut down, they're getting more people to go there. So like one day we didn't fill out all our tee times. So they're like, oh, I could have had people come in. I was like, really? We just supported you for years and years and years, and you're going to get pissed at us for one day, that you could have made an extra, $400. Well, you've made all this on us. So that kind of pissed off the guy who ran it. So then we went to Patriot in Bedford, the VA hospital, at the VA hospital.
Yeah.
That's a nice little track. And place in Acton, which when I worked at Deck House in Acton, this place did not exist. It's like less than 20 years old, this little golf course. I guess it was a private for a company at one point, and then the company went under, they sold it, and it's a little 9-hole course. It was pretty good. It's in I forget what that place was. Man, I tell you, my memory. I get scared.
You got to write these things down. The problem is,
get scared.
I didn't tell you what we're going to talk about. We just started talking about golf, so we're all over the place, which is fine. What's interesting,
I can't Homer straight. It's bugging me. It keeps folding up on me.
He looks great. Oh, is it like that rubber front?
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, I looked real quick. I wasn't sure if it was a donut or a wreath, or a donut that looks like a wreath, but it's a wreath.
Yeah,
it could be both. You never know.
With Homer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what pricing hits next year, because I feel like everybody's been creeping up. One of the funny things that happened, and I want to also complain about a place, but I'm going to protect their innocence by not using their name, but I want to tell a story. The Lynx in South Berwick did was when you looked online, they were showing their new fall rates. But they actually, when you went there, the carts went up $5. So they were sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul, which was amazing. So we even most recently, I think we ended up at about 70 for a round there, which is still $5 cheaper than and 4,000%. Absolutely. Even with the stuff gone, because the best part of the Links at Outlook in South Berwick is their turn shack. When COVID hit, they were doing like cocktails and hot dogs, but you had to walk up to the clubhouse and they sort of slid a window. It wasn't a window that was built for drive-through, obviously, but you sort of walked up and they were handing food outside. They weren't letting people in for obvious reasons. Yeah. And then after that, they're like, we should build a turn shack. And they built a turn shack right next to the pro shop, and it's magical. I'm getting an announcement. No, thank you. I have Alexa telling me there's movement at the front door at my house, which is great. I hope so. Proof of life.
Yeah.
And you go in this little shed. So when you're making the turn and coming onto the 10th tee box, this little shed, she's got all the hard stuff. Any cocktail you want to make, she's got everything you need. She's got everything in a can. She's got water. She's got Powerades. And when you're making the turn at 10:30, 11 o'clock-ish, whatever time we're pulling around, she's got breakfast sandwiches, hot dogs, burgers, sausages, all the things. It's Aiden's favorite. Aiden loves the course and he loves the turn shack. It's like a double slam dunk for him.
South Berwick, that's right on
that's
edge of
right on 236.
Main.
Yeah, you're literally coming out of Dover, cutting through a little subsection of Rollinsford, and going and it's right. Scotty lives. You could throw a rock and hit Scotty's house.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. And it's like a tale of two cities, because the front 9 is like a links course. And the back 9, it's almost like the picture them having you play 9 holes on the prairie, 9 holes on the jungle, but even more dramatically different.
Yeah,
it's really well done. Really well done. It's one of our favorite places. But that so let me complain about the place, and then we'll move on with our life. You're talking about the people giving you crap for not having like your whole group. So yeah. I belonged to a place on. They do a membership. It's not a full membership. They call it like an evergreen. And there was an evergreen membership that I was doing, which was basically throw down $1,000 before the season starts. And as you play, we'll just chew at that $1,000, right? And if I didn't use it, the money could carry over to 24, but I would have to drop another 1,000 to be back in again. So it'd be my 1,000 that I dropped for 24 plus whatever my balance was from 23.
Yeah.
I probably did this for 4 or 5 years. And it was good. And then like last year, I'm just like, I don't want to feel like I have to play there. Even though it carries over, I felt committed to play there. And it turned into our place that we played the most because of that membership, I could book 14 days out.
Yeah.
You know, and so we kept playing there a lot. And I'm just like, I want to play different places. I'm not going to drop the $1,000. We're just going to go. I'm going to go free agent this year. And that's what I did this year. But one of the first rounds of golf we played this season, we played over there. And I booked 2 groups. And my 8th guy in group 2 didn't show up.
Yeah.
And the very next week, I went on to book this place as a safety. And I usually book like Saturday morning. I'll wake up when the cat walks across my face. One of the cats wakes me up at like 3:30. Yeah. I'm just going to go online because I know they've opened their books. And I went online to book for the next week. And they said, we're sorry, you've already gone over your limit of no-shows for the season. You'll have to call the clubhouse. I was because, like, again, not a full member, but I was an evergreen member for a handful of years, spending tons of money. This is when I was bringing Aiden and Cameron.
Yeah.
So I'm paying 3 carts, 3 greens fees, 3 lunches, 3 turns, all the hot dogs, all the Gatorades for them to fire that off. So there's an event we go to at that course all the time. It's 18 for Autism. It's a great, great event every July. And I go in there and the staff knows me because I've been going there for years. And one of the waitresses goes, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. My name is," like she was giving me shit because they hadn't seen me. I said, "Don't start." And I told her the whole reason they hadn't seen me. I was so annoyed. Yeah. Just the dumbest, just that. And there was one other really stupid story. Janina's cured all that, by the way. And then, of course, we'll get to Shohei the money. Sorry. Janina, in the last 2 months, got super aggravated. And she's not mad at me, but she's just like, you played more this year, but you're still playing like the same rotation. So, you know her with her hiking. So she's like she is redlining the whole state of New Hampshire. She's like, so she goes, you need to get to all these places. So she made up a spreadsheet of all the places that are semi-private or public in all of New Hampshire. She's going to add northern Massachusetts, and she should add eastern Massachusetts, I guess, all the way down to the Cape per our earlier conversation. And she's done like all of southern Maine. And what she was doing is every Friday she would like spin the wheel and she'd give me 5 places I could call. So that's how I'm going to operate going into 2024. She's just going to tell me where I can book. And obviously booking safeties and stuff like that too. But so she's fully invested. Like I said to you guys on Saturday, I'm very lucky that she goes hiking as much as she does because I never get any flack.
Yeah.
Now, if we could just fix my slice. There's that. You and Maddie got a hold of some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
what I hate about
doesn't shock me.
Fall, winter golf is the angle of the sun. It's like you hit one right down the middle and you can't find the ball. It's nuts. It landed right here. Well, plus it didn't help that the ground was so hard that I'm sure stuff bounced
some of them
in
were
weird ways
away.
that you're not used to. So, but there was I probably lost 3 or 4 balls that I saw the ball land and it was in play and I just could never find the ball.
I'll give them credit though. They did a great job with they were pretty cleaned up on leaves.
Yeah.
But
leaves
it was
were
still
not
tough.
a problem.
It's that time of year where you have to drive down, then you have to drive back because you need to hit it from different angles to hopefully. Because Gooch kept saying, "There it is." I'm like, "That's a leaf, too. That's a leaf. That's a leaf." He's like, "There it is." I'm like, "No, it's not." And then the other the other thing is that guy that was behind you guys waiting to take off for the shotgun start that had the Mr. Heater. I'm definitely getting one of those. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we've been playing outside since it got cold, and I haven't felt the need to have one of those yet, but that would be nice if you did. And one of the veterans, you saw one of the older guys wrapped his thing. He had the entire, there was a guy way behind us that had the whole cart wrapped.
Yeah.
Like it's the plastic.
It was beautiful out. Like I actually had to shed a layer. It was a beautiful day.
Yep.
It was I was worried at first, and I definitely overdressed at first because it's like I'm trying to see. the thing is when I go for my bike rides, you get the wind chill. So I definitely like I was thinking, okay, I go for bike rides when it's 40, 30, I've done 35 to 40, and I'm like, so I dress like this, but yeah, it was
But the
definitely
wind chill when you're on your bike, the wind chill is offset by the fact that your body temperature is going up to about
not
20 degrees.
not in your fingers and your toes.
Right, not in the extremities. Yeah, that's why I said the wool socks are the most important thing.
Yeah, that was I went for one bike. Actually, I looked at the weather before I left. It wasn't supposed to rain, but there was like in spots of the trail, like in Acton, there was like a sprinkle. So a couple places my feet got a little wet, and then it took me probably 6 hours to get my feeling back in my toes that day. They were they got so cold and numb. I was like, oh man.
Do you want to? You want a good hack for this? Unless you've already done it. I know you have wool. Do you have wool socks that you wear when you ride?
So I didn't that day because I didn't think it was going to be that cold out. But
the other hack, unless you get like waterproof shoes that you're going to ride with, and I'm sure you wore something that was waterproof.
I bought waterproof socks.
Well, I was going to just say what you need to do, but see, those can screw you up though. What you need to do is you go. I don't think it matters what order, but you can go standard socks, then you go Hannaford bag, second sock, and then the shoe.
Yeah, see, if I get to, I'm probably not going for a ride.
If I'm putting Hannaford bags on my feet, I'm not going up.
That it's like in the early of the season when I'm trying to get as many rides. Like I think, oh, I got to get in as much. I'll take a few chances on weather, but then I mean, especially this past year it was raining every weekend, so I was like, I just gotta suck it up and do it because I was like missing weekend because like I would ride in the morning before work, but I would only do actually I was starting to do 20 before work, but on the weekends I would do 30, 40, 50 miles, but it was like raining every weekend. I didn't get to. How did you make out golf wise? Did you rain to shine? Because it rained a lot these weekends this past summer.
Looking at the weather, I would book, and it would always work out because she would be willing to hike in whatever, but she was always going to hike in the favorable weather. So when it got to Saturday and Sunday, we would just look at the better of the 2 days. And knock on wood, I mean, honestly, there weren't many weekends that I got completely smoked out.
Well,
not at all. And I always, and not that this matters because the weather could hit at any point, but like during the season when we're going, like I'm setting seventh. Like the guys that I work with, my agents that are in their 20s, hated me, because Grandpa Lindsay's booking like 7:29 tee times.
Yeah, that's me.
And they're pissed. But I love doing that because you're in the clubhouse by 12 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah. Yep.
When you're getting when you're hitting late August and I'm in the clubhouse for kickoff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was when I belonged to NAB for I think like 3 years. We would play every Saturday and Sunday morning. Like the latest tee time was like 8 o'clock.
1,000%.
Yeah. Done by noon.
Well, that's the other thing too is if you do it Saturday morning, you've got the rest of Saturday and all day Sunday to yourself. Like that's huge.
Well, I was playing Saturdays and Sundays.
Nice.
And
which is really funny. I've got to
say, kind of why I gave up the membership because I felt like I have AAA work trucks. Like a lot of firefighters, they in the summertime they'll be able to play every day that they're not at the fire station.
Yep.
But for me, I was only playing on the weekends, and I felt like I had to play.
Yep.
To get my money's worth. So I went on that my last year that I belonged at NAB. I probably went on 3 bike rides that summer. I was like, I love going on bike rides, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to feel like I have to go.
Yep.
So, and then the guy that started work with me, he's like, oh, we play every Monday. I was like, oh, that's great. I love playing 9 holes. Just to get out, play 9.
Sure.
I'm fine with that. I don't have to do the 18.
Yep. Yeah, Yeah, getting it done before lunch to me is the jam.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to someone, like there's one of the guys in our Meredith office, and he's like, "Oh my, I consistently play Sunday afternoon." Like to me, I don't know what it is in my wiring, but like I don't want to do anything that late on a school night. I just I want to be home, and I don't know. Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, we always play like Twilight on Sunday afternoon." I'm like, "Nope,
I play with
none of that."
One of my friends. His tea time was 5 a.m.
That's massively aggressive. I
It
would
was
get
great,
nobody to go with me. I'd get no one to
but
go with me.
he's like 40 minutes away from me, so I had to get up at 4, which
Yeah.
I do anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the matter, but it's like to get out there for 5. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. It messes up my morning too much because I woke up so I could do the wrap up before I went out.
Yeah.
So it was like I'm up at 4, got to do that, do this, and get out the door by 4:15, and
Yeah.
it was too much of a rush.
Yeah. Well, we've got 9:30 this Saturday, so we'll see. I'm waiting for them to not call. I literally when Hickory Hill called, I picked up the phone. Yeah. And I didn't even like say hello. I just started talking, which should shock nobody. I picked up the phone and I was just like, so my initial thought was I wasn't going to answer the phone because I thought if I don't answer the phone, you can't tell me you're closed, and then we're still on for Saturday. And the guy just starts laughing. He's like, I'm like, yeah, we were talking to you guys in the clubhouse, and you said there's nowhere for the water to go. So they pulled the ripcord today, which sucks.
Yeah.
And there's a great thing. There's a club up here in Somersworth called the Oaks, and they just added a top tracer pavilion. And in the last week, they added garage doors and heating elements, and they claim that they're going to be good down to 20 degrees. So as soon as the weather goes sideways, you can go there. It's an interesting concept. You can go there because you think when you play sim, right, you're hitting like 1 or 2 or 3 balls into the screen and you're indoors.
Yeah.
So you can go there and use their top tracer. It's literally the same software, same company. It's all owned by Callaway, right? Top Tracer and Top Golf. It's just like going to a Top Golf, but it's just they installed their initial 9 bays. They just opened this fall. They added the garage doors and the heating elements within the last week. And you can go in and just say, I'm going to just put on the data so I can see what I'm hitting. And you can track your data, and there's an app that matches it. So when you get there, you tell them you're at the Oaks, and it will feed all into your app, so you'll have all your data. Or you can say, we're going to play Carnoustie. But the challenge is you got to keep feeding these balls into the machine, right? Like Top Golf is just this one big system where they just keep feeding the balls in. But at this place, because it's new and they haven't really figured it out yet, you got to keep dumping buckets of balls in. Because they can't say, well, there's 4 of you and you're playing 18 holes, so you shouldn't need more than X. Like I still have to raise my hand and be like, I'm going to need like 200 balls, just so you know. Yeah. I'm going to need a couple more buckets over here. But so that's going to be our fail safe when the weather finally kicks in. But talk to me. It's ironic they just came up on my iPad. Well, the Red Sox did, and they had nothing to do with this. The Shohei money. Like, just as a baseball, you are our baseball purist. Talk to me about how $700 million over 10 years make sense for me. Now I know the initial argument is when he stops pitching, he can still hit. Do you actually see him getting through 10 years with them?
Because he's older already. So he's 29 already. I know he's upper 20s already, so
I'll look it up for you. Finish your thought.
Well, first thing I heard is
29.
Anaheim,
you are correct. July 5th, he will be 30.
That they could say that they were getting about $25 million a year coming in because of him.
Sure.
So you figure, $40 million a year. If you're and the Dodgers is going to be a bigger market than Anaheim was, even though they're right next to each other. But the Dodgers have a way bigger following than Angels do. They're probably going to make close to 30 million a year of that 40 coming back in just because of him. So at least initially, the first few years where he's hot hot commodity. But that's what you have to do nowadays. You have to do that. You're not going to get someone to commit to a four-year contract. If you want to get one of these studs, you're going to have to pay 10 plus years at ridiculous money, or I'm not looking forward to a Red Sox season already. Like, I don't think they're going to do anything.
No, you make a great point. Like they're in the last few weeks, I think if you're paying attention and you're a Red Sox fan, and I'm paying quite a bit of attention, maybe not as much as you, knowing that Shohei was like, we weren't in the conversation. I know that.
They'll probably spin it that they were, but
my comparison to that, though, I guess the analogy that I will draw is, I know Saturday night I'm not winning Powerball, but it's still exciting to be waiting for the number to be drawn.
Right,
like there was some excitement around yeah, like, oh, shit, what if he is here? God, I mean, what a just a cultural shift that'll be for the team for the next handful of years, blah blah blah. And then it happens, and I don't even remember who it was, and I don't have the strength to look it up, but they announced like a pitcher or something. We announced somebody on the same day. And
I heard you talking about that Saturday. I still haven't heard.
Out of respect to whoever that poor son of a bitch was, just wait.
Yeah.
Like, you either did that to be like, don't worry, Red Sox fans, we're making moves too. Stupid.
Or they were doing it just to make it go under the radar.
Sure.
Because they knew it was so pathetic.
So bad, almost not worth doing. Yeah, I guess it's just he's really, unless I'm crazy, and I am, so correct me. Like, is there anyone else of note that's floating around now that Soto's gone?
No, everything's gone. Well, everything's got to be trade. I know the Dodgers, before all this happened, I had heard that they wanted to sign Ohtani and trade for Trout. So, I mean, I would assume Anaheim needs a rebuild. They should get rid of Trout, trade him. So he's possibly on the market, but he's hurt all the time. Back on Ohtani, you figure, so this year he's just DHing. So you're paying $40 million for a DH. But most likely going forward after this season, you're going to get 4 to 6 seasons of him doing double duty, and that's a bargain, because you figure you're getting an all-star bat for $20 million and an all-star pitcher for $20 million.
Right.
So that's on the cheap at that point.
They had, I forget where I saw it, and I suppose it matters, but it doesn't, because there's probably more than just this one team. They had somebody's entire franchise worth at $1 billion. And I believe they put Mookie and Shohei combined alone are at 1.07 or something like that. Like it's I don't know. I don't know if I'm disappointed or mad or both. I think both. I just, like, nothing's going to happen. You know how big of a fan my mom is. Like, she's just like, really? Like, there's nothing. Nothing's going to happen. I think we aren't officially even into winter, William, and you can officially already say they're ruining your summer.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry.
It is awful.
It's not great. It's not great.
I mean, you figure if they don't do anything or they do minor stuff, they were in last place last year, and the other teams are already doing stuff.
Yes.
So you haven't made yourself better than the teams in your own division.
Nope. The Yankees should be.
I mean, they have pitching problems, the Yankees. So if they end up getting the pitcher from Japan, that's going to help them. But I think they also have enough
pickle
going on.
They have enough parts moving around that they'll probably They'll figure something out.
And then in the trade for Verdugo and for Soto, they gave up a lot of pitching in both of those trades. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, it's kind of been proven that you can't just bash your way to a World Series. You have to have some type of pitching.
Yep. Yeah, I wanted to get your 4 cents on Shohei. That was killing me.
Yeah.
I knew we weren't in the mix, but I just can't believe that. And
I just wonder what happened with the whole Toronto thing, because they were like putting him on a plane flying out there Friday.
Yep.
To sign the contract, and it was like, nope. LA.
And I have to imagine there's got to be, because I'm guessing in Los Angeles, because of the population, I have to imagine there's got to be a strong West Coast pull for him to be able to travel home, and I get that. But to take your $700 million and to drop it into the tax hell that is California, to not have, I mean, and again, he's a smart kid, and I'm sure he had exhaustive conversations with his agent. But how do you realize how much you spent in taxes hanging out with the Angels and not make a move to get away from that? Just from a financial standpoint,
that much money, then
yeah,
you figure out ways to not have to pay as much as you have to in taxes. You know,
I'm sure you will, but you're still in one of the worst possible places.
Yes.
Like businesses leave California for that reason, right? And he's a business. That was really shocking to me. Pretty ridiculously shocking. So the football thing for me, I remember, like, it was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, and I said to Janine, I said, "Oh, we're going to be busy losing on Thursday night," even though I said we win, and I said we win by. Did I say we win by 3?
I don't.
I feel like I said 16-13 because the under was 29 or the over was 30. I forget what it was.
Yeah, it was 30 and a half, the over-under.
Yeah, what did it end up, 21-18? Yeah, we went scoreless in the second half. Yeah. Anyway, as negative as I was in conversation with people that saw me in real life, I know that I said that we'd win, and I'm glad we won, even though it's screwing up our chances to get the first pick. I don't think that matters. I think we needed a new QB. I don't think we need whoever the world decides is number one. Would I like us to have our own pick? Our pick of the litter? Sure, that'd be great. All that aside, I remember saying to Janina, "Oh, this is awesome. Patriots are Thursday night, so it's a red zone Sunday." And I got to tell you, I was really bored with watching red zone yesterday.
So
it was pretty bad.
I've noticed this. Maybe you watch too much Patriots. I watch more red zone than like usually the Patriots is on the small screen.
Yep.
I'm watching. Yep. There is a lot of bad teams in the NFL.
1000%, dude.
So even worse for me on Sunday, the morning games, I only had one guy in my fantasy team in the early window, and I was like, "Wow, this is horrible.
This is terrible." And it's so
at
funny.
Least when you have 3 or 4 players playing, you're kind of interested in that. But it was and I think I had a kicker, and I think Olave were the 2 players I had in the morning.
Yep, I said to Janina, I was watching. I'm like, oh, I got to double check. Because for some reason I had Zay in our league. I didn't have Zay in the neighborhood league. In my money league with one of my agents, I'm already out because we're already in the playoffs over there for whatever reason. So I was out of that league this weekend. I was only in the neighborhood league and the ATB league. And I'll be like, oh, I think, and then I'll have to go look and check, but I'm not. She is checking after every play. She's checking to see where she stands. She gets so worked up, which I find fascinating. But yeah, the football is not. It's really boring to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad. That's what's so great about
football. There's a lot of injuries. There's just a I don't know. There's a shade of gray that's not delicious. And what speaks to that is the red zone is usually, and you bing, bang, boom, bing, bang, and they're hanging out. They're hanging out with a team that's on the 38-yard line in the middle of a timeout. Like there's nothing going on.
Yeah, you figure that they had a team that was a game that went to 3, ended up being 3-0 was the final.
So bad.
Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of action in that game. Yeah, it was pretty. So did you watch the end of the Chiefs Buffalo Bills game?
I did.
When Mahomes lost his shit because of the call.
So
and the guy was clear. So you know, the receivers are taught when you line up, you look over at the ref.
Always look to the sideline.
They're all set. He never looked over there. And the ref's like, if you're not going to ask, I'm not going to tell you.
Well, so that's a great point. Somebody else, I forget where I heard this, somebody else made the point of saying that apparently the refs had said to him multiple times, you got to back up, you got to back up, you got to back up. So when the ref has told him you got to back up 15 times, the foot is back on the line and you're not looking over to me for any guidance.
Yeah.
Do I think that is a mortal sin? No. And letting it go is just like letting LeBron take the 5th Euro step.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're just ignoring the rules. And as Kramer would say from Seinfeld, Jerry, without rules, there's chaos, right?
Yes.
And that's where we're headed. And you know what bothered me the most? And Janina, we watched the quarterback series on Netflix.
Yeah.
And as we pushed play on episode 1, she said, the only thing that scares me is we watch these shows and we grow endeared to these athletes. And she's like, and I do not want to start to like Patrick Holmes. And I do. And he's good. I still will enjoy watching him lose. I enjoyed watching him lose last night for the same reason. Because I am still in love with my captor, Tom Brady. I still want him to be the biggest face on Mount Rushmore. Yep. And for you, like it's that scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You stole fizzy lifting drink. Now the walls have to be washed and sterilized. You lose. Good day, sir. Like, when you look at the film, he is in the neutral zone and he's not looking over for guidance and you lose. And good night, everybody. So,
and he was making such a big deal about the play that Kelsey made. It was like, it was a neat play, but come on, it's not the best play I've ever seen in my life. You know,
the way he slammed his helmet, the way he made that the crux of his conversation with
100% blaming the refs.
Yeah, and then he goes out and he's hugging Josh and he's continuing on. With the bitching, not just saying great game, nice work. You're so good. It reminds me of Barry Sanders. When Barry Sanders, everybody's just like, you never celebrate, you just hand the ball to the ref. I'm always going to act like I belong there, and I've been there before.
It's like, okay, you guys don't learn because you didn't go to a Super Bowl that the Patriots went to and won because you had a defensive player do the same thing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, exactly. There's rules for a reason. It's like that. I don't feel bad.
No.
I mean, it's easy. Even I feel if it had happened to our team, I would be yelling and screaming at the wide receiver. Like, it's obvious. It's not like it was, half a toe was over. He was
over.
His whole foot was over.
Yep.
And it's like, you know what? You didn't. They help you. You go over. You line up. You look at the ref, and they tell you yes or no, and you adjust to it. If you're not, and he never looked over to get any advice. So it's on him.
Well, and let's go. Well, let's skate back a little bit and go back. I just saw this picture pop up in social media within the last month. The clear shot of N'Keal Harry's entire left foot inside the chalk, right? When he made that final plant of his left foot and then scored the touchdown, and everybody's just like, an entire franchise got smoked on this one play because that could have catapulted us into that was a playoff game, was it not? Yes, it was. Wasn't it? I feel like it was.
Memory.
Yeah, again, the memory. Yeah, but I just and like, did we bitch about it in the moment? Sure. Did it get posted the other day? Yes, but I think most disappointing was who Patrick wants to be in this league and how he showed up yesterday was just two different people.
It's so that's one conversation I've had over the last few weeks is that so they dubbed him, the next GOAT a few seasons ago, right?
Yep.
And they they think they can do the same thing that Belichick did with Brady is bring in, we'll just bring in whatever receivers and Brady will make them look better than they really are. And Mahomes can't do that.
He's not the same guy. Yep.
No.
Yep.
Not although I gotta admit that I watch Red Zone every week, and so you see a lot of the Chiefs stuff. They have dropped a lot of passes on him this year.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Ton.
Yep.
Like stuff right in their hands. And it's like, wow. If
we should send Juju back, he'd be right at home.
Yeah. Yep.
Be right at home. So obviously this Sunday, 1:00, there's going to be one of the most important or exciting or sought after humans on the planet will be in the building. So
is she confirmed?
She hasn't. I can't imagine she won't make it because I think there's a huge soft spot in her heart because she had that Saturday night show, I believe, when she was here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think Saturday was a complete and total downpour, and she got such accolades for staying out there and making it awesome. So, 5 things. We'll start with the first 3. Are you in the camp that you're annoyed that she's around and there's attention on her?
Well, so back to the point of yesterday's game. So had that play stood and Kelsey had that throwback and they scored the touchdown, that camera would have been in the box with her jumping up and down the whole time. But where it got overturned, they didn't show her. I was like, show her in defeat also.
Yes.
Like not just when she's happy about
health.
What's going on.
Yes.
I'm a little annoyed. I think more not so much during the games, but it's the coverage on ESPN. What happened to ESPN? Like in the 80s, it was appointment TV watching Sports Center. Yeah. I love ESPN. ESPN was so good, and they're so woke that it drives me nuts.
Yep, 4,000%. Yep. Well, but the other thing, you made a great point. In the 80s, we weren't checking anything or getting anything here.
True.
Right? Yep. So it was like, I mean, I just joked, and I believe you've met Pettigrew. Pettigrew was marching out of my office, and I had said something. He's walking out of the office. I'm like, yep, film at 11. Like, I say that right now. Most of my agents don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say film at 11, right? Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, like, nothing's appointment television anymore because it's all streamable. But I do get what you're saying. I
think so I'm at the gym and they have it on. They have ESPN and it's usually so they're replaying the end of a game when I first get there, and then SportsCenter's on. And I just watch it, and it's like they kiss people's ass so bad. So during the coverage, so they were on. It was Nance and Romo, and right when the kickoff started, I was like,
Romo said his wife.
Whose ass is Romo kissing? Is it going to be Allen or Mahomes? It's like he usually, if one of them's playing, he's kissing their ass the whole game. So does he have to choose because they're both in it?
Yeah.
It's like so bad. It's like just call the game, and you don't have to always be like we all know they're good players. You don't have to be like, he's unbelievable player. It's like, yeah, we know. It's like you don't have to go above and beyond to kiss these guys' ass.
Janino loses their mind because he flips and flops with whoever's doing better. Like, and there's always seems to be the athlete color guy who does that, but he takes it to another level. It's
which will be interesting.
Pretty fascinating.
Sir Brady how he's going to be.
Yeah, I still don't think he ever goes in there and does the job, but if he does, I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, what is your prediction for Sunday? What do we got? What is Vegas even saying? Because I feel like it's going to be brutal.
Well, I'm 100% rooting against the Patriots every week anyway, because I just want the best draft pick. I will not be disappointed if they don't go quarterback. Like, I know they need a lot of help. If they did offensive, if they go defense, I'll be pissed. As long as they pick something on offense with that first pick, or I won't even be mad if they traded and got 2 picks in the first round. Like they say they have the second pick, trade that pick for 2 picks in the first round.
Okay.
Because they need so much help. I won't be mad at that. I don't want to see a defensive player drafted because we need so much help on the offensive. Like if they get a stud offensive lineman, I'm fine with that. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that I don't think they're all gonna, because people don't need that. There's not that many teams that need quarterbacks.
Yep.
Or are willing to take them that high. That I think one of them will slip. That I think there'll still be a better quarterback available than what you have right now.
All right, so you're voting for the Chiefs. I'll tell you right now, the over/under is 37, and Kansas City is giving 9.5.
Ooh.
I thought it was going to be more than that, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think it sounds big because after what they just, but Pittsburgh's a horrible team too. 9.5. So Belichick will take away Kelsey, so it's going to be up to their receivers that drop a lot of passes. I'll say, but their defense is pretty good. So I'll say 23-10, Kansas City.
I'm going to go 27. This is for Taylor, of course. Hi, Taylor. This is 27-13. That's her favorite number. 27-13. Bad guys. Because I would love to be wrong. I would love for us to pull this off. But I think coming off I'm afraid we might be reading our own press clippings in the locker room. And if the energy that he used yelling into Josh's ear yesterday at the end of the game, if he bottles any of that and brings it to Gillette at 1 o'clock on Sunday,
ugly because this could be.
He wants to make a statement, and he's not going to let this go wrong. So
I'll tell you one thing. I loved golfing with you guys. It was great, but I feel we missed something. Seeing some of the footage from the pre-game stuff for the Army-Navy game was pretty badass.
Oh, yeah. Everything we did for the pregame thing. Yes.
And Belichick with the helmet. And
yeah, I went back and watched all that. That was awesome. I mean, not good for you because Navy lost, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, at least they made it respectable at the end. They were getting nothing done.
No,
but I think, on that, I think Army cheated because they threw passes.
Oh, boy, here we go. What's happening? Oh, because they actually threw the ball?
Yeah,
they matriculated the ball down the field in the air?
Receptions for touchdowns. I thought that was illegal in those games.
It is interesting because, like, it used to be. I mean, we always, obviously, for obvious reasons, we watched Army Navy my entire life in our household because of my dad. But for 30,000 years, the Army Navy game was who's going to run a better wishbone, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yep.
It was all it was, which then sort of developed into the read option ish, right?
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to watch them play like a different brand of football. It's pretty cool. And I love the one thing I haven't gone back and watched. I love that they had Portnoy from Barstool fired the cannon.
Oh yeah,
to start the game, which is great.
Did you see him go up to Mr. Kraft? Did you see any of
I saw the interaction. I saw a video of the interaction. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but yep.
And we're all waiting. So I've seen multiple things. So there's 3 pizza places in the area that I know that he's hit, but I'm sure usually he does like 10 in an area when he's doing it. So hopefully there's a couple of the places we've grown up to love.
Yeah, I would love like Joni's, which I haven't been to, but I've heard everybody raving about. Cheryl told me everybody in town raves about Joni's. It's good, huh? And are they straight up like Italian style pizza?
Yes.
Okay. So Zesties has been the
that's the thing. It's like
we grew up going to the Chelmsford Center and going to Zesties. No, yeah.
So I wonder if he even he just skips those type of
skipped them and just went to Joni's. But good for them if he did, and I'm excited to see what the score is.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to try it based on that. I love him. I think the fact that and we were explaining this to the Gooch, the fact that and here's another thing, just to dot the I on our conversation about ESPN, what's going on with them. The fact that he sold to Penn, got all that money, and then Penn sold it back to him for $1 just to be out of business with him so they could get into business with Disney, ABC, ESPN. Now that they are ESPN bets, like they keep moving away from their core value, right?
Yeah.
And it's even more and more. And I love that you can do that now. I love that you can sit in your car and, be like, shit, just grab your phone and lay down a parlay or whatever. Like, all that's really cool. I'm not against doing it. I don't do it as much as I think even the random gambler does. Like, I can't tell you the last time I went on DraftKings and placed, not a sponsor yet, and placed anything. But I think it's super cool that you can do that.
Under Thursday night.
There you go. Good for you. I think that's it. That's a piece of why they've got one more distraction now, and they're going to be super focused on that because but they're also, I think they're, as much as people don't like them, FS1 tried to be the new ESPN, and they're just not.
I mean,
they're not. There's one mothership. They're the mothership.
Yeah.
And we watch them all the time. We will watch them all the time. We put them on there. We're watching Game Day. I love Game Day. Rumor of drugs on the set. Did you see that?
No.
I mean, I tried to look it up a few times to make sure I wasn't losing my mind, and maybe I'm slandering right now, but I don't think I am. I caught a couple of articles where there are rumors that ESPN's investigating rumors of drugs on the set of Game Day. So people are pointing back to the week that Theo Vaughn was there, and they're like, well, look at Pat. Who knows what's going on there? I mean, he's a spaz, but I don't think he's that crazy. But who knows? Who knows? But that's
he's getting a lot of backlash for around here that they say that he ambushed Robert Kraft
with the question.
Yeah, I haven't heard it in context yet. I've only heard his account of it, and Steph said she heard the whole thing, and he's leaving stuff out. But I don't think it was that bad. Even if you did ask, like, hey, so I wouldn't want to have to make the decision about moving on for Belichick. Even if you said, like, why is that a big deal?
Even if the Patriots organization, even if Stacey James said, don't ask Bob about this, don't ask Bill about that.
Yeah.
If I'm Pat McAfee and they gave me that entire bag of money and told me to go sit in the center of the Game Day set and be the biggest loudmouth, which he is, and he's attracting a whole new generation.
Yep.
They know what they're doing. I'm going to be like, well, I didn't ask him the question because all he said was nobody is jealous of your position with what you have coming up.
Yep.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he did not say, is Bill going to be on the sideline? He did not say, are you killing Mac behind the barn after the show? None of that was said. And I think everybody, you could say, well, by not saying it, you don't know who he's talking about. Everyone knows the reference he was making was about Bill, not about Mac. Mac is a fait accompli. He is not going to be under center next year.
So
he's not. There's no way. I mean,
have you seen the footage, either TikTok, Instagram, whatever, with Perk, Pierce, and Garnett?
No.
So Garnett was saying that LeBron's still a top 5 player in the NBA right now, and, Pierce was arguing, "No, he's not." He's like, and Garnett's like, tell me 5 plays you take over him," and he's naming them, but the Garnett was dropping the N-word left and right. Oh my god. It
On
was
what
like,
network?
I
It's just
think it was,
social media? Okay.
yeah, I think it was one of like a streaming thing
Okay.
because they were promoting Hollyweed on the show, so it was a streaming thing, but I
Okay.
mean, the N-word left and like it had to be 100 times in the
Oh my God.
1-minute clip. But that was so I was showing Steph that, and she's like, "What happened to Perk? So he's not on ESPN anymore. He's not on NBC Sports anymore.
Yeah, nope.
What happened? Do you know what happened?"
Nope. No idea. Yeah, I mean, the thing, Bronny made his debut coming off the bench as a freshman. Yeah. They made a huge deal about that. Listen, I'll give LeBron his flowers. He's 75 years old. He's still doing it. He is phenomenal. Yes, he gets all the calls. It is what it is. And if he gets to a point, which this is what he's fighting for right now, all he wants to do is get to a point where the Lakers are going to draft his son.
Yeah.
And he gets to play with him. And if he does that, when's the last time we saw that? Ken Griffey Jr.?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the last, probably the last time we saw that happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if he gets that done, that's super cool. He'll go down as one of the best. And this is here I come with my cane waving it into the clouds. He's still not going to be better. It only feels as if he's more important because of the exposure he gets. Yeah. But Jordan, you know what? I mean, end of story. Jordan.
I know it's a different time and more social media stuff, but it feels like I've never seen a star have to pat his own back more than him. Like a superstar, you have everyone in the world already kissing your ass, and you're out there patting your back even more. It's like, Jesus, buddy. Well, like this whole I called it after the second week of the in-season tournament.
I was just going to say to you, David Stern didn't have to create a second tournament to make Jordan feel better about himself.
Like, he's going to win this, and I could say I guarantee it, but it isn't a guarantee, but I fully feel that they're going to end up naming that the LeBron James Cup. He was the first one to win it. And that's another thing. He's like posting all the time. He's like, oh, yeah. Or even on the interviews, he's like, yeah, records can be broken and stuff, but you can never win something for the first time. And it's like, dude, and they celebrated that like it was a championship win.
Dude, they ran. Yeah, I was just gonna say to you, the footage of him.
Oh,
two things: the footage of him running in, putting on the ski goggles, and then popping the champagne, which even the champagne didn't want to pop. It was so pitiful.
Oh yeah, it was like he was. There was no.
It was not. It was not
great. Like, oh, they got you the cheap stuff.
It was not great. Yeah, and then the other thing was, he's like, yeah, all the kids are asking me when do we get our money. I don't know. And again, I'm sure you know what, LeBron. If you want to be a rock star, give your 500 to the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, right.
And no judgment. He deserves the money. They won. Our Celtics didn't win. All that aside, like. The amount of celebration around the in-season tournament. And again, David Stern didn't have to create another thing to have a fake championship to make Jordan feel better about himself.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And the more I think of it, this was made just for him. Because I'm thinking they probably saw, okay, we have, he's still the face of the league. Like, and you know what the biggest thing with LeBron that bothers me is he should have been.
It does my heart so good to hear you complain about a Laker.
Hands down, no doubt, the GOAT. Like, no, the size of him and what he can do, he should have dominated for years and years and years. And one of my favorite memes that I see is they show, they put Jordan, and they say the best team in his era was the Bulls. Kobe, the best team in his era was the Lakers. Then he put LeBron, the best team in his era was the Golden State Warriors. I was like, he didn't even have the best team in his era.
Right.
Although, I mean, Miami won a couple, so but also that's what you get for
not
jumping
four,
ship all the
not
time,
five.
you know? Yeah.
Nope. Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah, people can bring all these stats up, and you know, he'll never be the best in my mind. He should have been. He should have made it wouldn't have even been an argument. The size of him now, like he wasn't this big when he was, first in the league, but how big and dominant he is, he should be able to take over a game, every game in his prime. He should have been able to win every game, no problem.
He's awesome and annoying.
When he went to the finals with the Cavaliers, with the bad Cavaliers team, I respected him that year because they had no business being, but he carried them there. But he should have been able to do that. He should have 10 championships. How dominant he is of a player when he feels like it. And that's what happened with this tournament. He's like, I want to win this. The Lakers scored, they were averaging, I believe, right around 20 points a game more in these in-season tournament games than their regular season tournament games.
And now that it's over, they're going to go back to load management and him playing occasionally, or he's off watching Bronny play on the road. Or
I tried to look this up earlier today, and I didn't get all the information that I wanted. But I was trying to think, all right, how many times they added that play-in tournament. So how many times has he benefited from that to make the playoffs? Because the team would have been out of it if it wasn't for the play-in tournament. So I don't have all the information on that, but it's what you want your biggest star to be in the playoffs and stuff, but to change the rules around, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yep. All right, we're back at it. We'll see you next Wednesday. I believe we're on the books to hang out next Wednesday night. We'll have most of the crew here. Not quite sure who will be here. Are you good next Wednesday? What's happening? Now you look confused.
So no. I'm at the fire station, so
we'll have remote rubber shoes. Rubber shoes on the road. All right. We'll be back at it next Wednesday for Adam and Scotty, who are on assignment for rubber shoes. You got to unfold your shirt so we can see Homer. Pull that down. There you go. Love it. And for Timmy, catch us online, atbshow.com. Rubber Shoes back at it in the morning with the wrap-up and rant on all of the social mediums, and our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks, Joe and Leslie, for tolerating us for another 168 hours. We'll see you in and around the internet and online at atbshow.com. Take care.